Hi, it's Danielle. This is my perfume journal where I document my love of perfume. So despite what you see on the screen right now, I promise this video does have something to do with perfumes. This is going to be a vlog of a trip my husband and I just took to New York City. We drove there for the weekend to see one of our favorite bands, Delamitri. I had to remove the sound from the clip so I don't get a copyright strike on my channel. The concert was amazing. They sounded fantastic. It was a standing room, which we should have realized earlier that it might not have been the best idea to track over 10 miles on our feet before going to a standing room concert, but here we are. It was a beautiful day in New York. The weather was perfect. It was sunny and warm without being like so sweltering hot that you can barely stand being in your own skin. And so before the show, we spent the day wandering around New York doing lots of interesting things, which of course included my favorite thing, visiting perfume shops. So after a little breakfast at a place called Cafe Integral on the Lower East Side where we were staying, I ordered the Olivia there, which was espresso with house-made almond milk, dates, and cinnamon, and it was delicious. We headed down to the new Printemps department store. I really wanted to see the red room where the shoes are, and it did not disappoint. The entire room is covered in these mosaic tiles in shades of like deep red and gold. It is this unbelievably dramatic backdrop to the shoe displays, and it was amazing to see. So we entered on the ground floor of the store, and immediately there were like these little displays of perfume in little niches around the room. My husband was more interested in the audacity of a $75 pair of boxer shorts. So I left him to quietly seethe about these overpriced underwear while I sampled a few things that I had never tried before. So they had the full line of Courage. Then I tried a perfume by a brand called 2787 called Flaneur, and it was sort of interesting. The accords that captured my nose were fresh, green, a little bit woody. I looked it up and it has linden, absinthe, orris butter, star anise, and woods. And I am intrigued enough by what I smelled the first time to seek out a sample of this perfume. Then I smelled through the entire line of Perroy perfumes. The bottles are so cute, but I'm sorry to say the perfumes were terrible. They were all like really scratchy and bad aroma chemical heavy. I did not enjoy these perfumes at all. So we jumped on the escalator, went upstairs, and as we turned left, I could see the holy land of perfumes in front of me. As you walk up to the fragrance section, you are greeted by a wall of perfume boxes and a small table that's like crowded with bottles. So even though the selection was small, there were so many unusual brands I'd never heard of before and brands that I had wanted to try. Adjacent to the table area was like this huge wall of curved shelving displays covered in these beautiful green tiles with like little perches. And that's where they had brands like BDK, Guerlain, Memo, Givenchy, Trudon. The display itself was really beautiful. And then there was a lovely, really nice diptyque display on another wall, very nicely organized and presented. So over on the perfume table, they had really cool brands like LT Pivert, a brand called Imaginarium that I'd never tried before. They had Voyage Imaginaire, Véronique Abai, Atelier des Ors, Goldfield and Banks, and D'Orsay. Then they had some really unusual brands like Broom or Pain. The bottles were green glass and they had no labels at all on them. You had to like flip them over to see what the perfume was all about. I got to smell the anti-perfumes again. I am really smitten with Rosa Antiqua, the perfume that features an olive oil note. Even my husband liked that one. He said that it reminded him of a tomato vine. I sampled 3 perfumes by Hellenist. I was quite taken with Chambre 52, and a first sniff of a few of their perfumes really made me say, so I will be looking out for samples from this brand as well. The beauty department bled into the fragrances down this like stark, almost like institutional looking hallway with perfume oils scattered around and bottles of perfume like this one from Memo tucked in here and there, very artistically displayed. Then as you exited the beauty department, there was a makeup room, and that was wild. The displays were so much fun. And when you walked out of that section, a wall of Christian Louboutin perfumes waved you off to your next destination. This was a winning visit. So we headed back up toward the Lower East Side to hang out in Little Italy for a while. The hus wanted to see and do some actual non-perfume related stuff, so we did that. And then our next perfume stop was ScentBar. This is the brick-and-mortar home of LuckyScent in Manhattan. The shop was really small, but really, really well organized. So on one side of the shop, they have these curated displays of perfumes that you can self-sniff, and they're categorized in really fun ways like cult classics, seasonal favorites, and staff favorites. And then behind the counter, the majority of bottles are organized in the way that you may have seen in LuckyScent's videos before. They're by scent family rather than brand, which I love. So I asked to smell Dandelion Butter from Clue Perfumery, and the associate and I got talking about perfumes that I was into lately, and I told him I was into like green and creamy perfumes lately, and so he recommended a few other scents for me to try. I loved Dandelion Butter. I thought it was fantastic. I would definitely like to sample that again. He sprayed a little of L'Epoque's Dreams and Nightmares. That was another interesting sort of green, creamy kind of a scent. I tried Green Vanille from Regime de Fleur. That one really didn't speak to me. And I smelled the wonderful Heliotrope from Ariza Legrand again, which I think is a wonderful perfume. Then I was able to try Lovebird, one of the new releases from Zoologist, which I loved. It's a fresh, fruity perfume, another one I'd like to sample again. I tried Lisa's new release, Flower Glyph. I'm not sure about that one. My first impression of that was not super positive, but I wouldn't mind sniffing it again. And then I tried the very, very viral Pear Pavlova from French Cowboy, and I thought that was a fantastic pear gourmand. It's really, really lovely. So on our way to our next destination, we passed another perfume shop called Osswald, and I stopped in just to see the wall of miniatures, and I have to say, what an amazing collection. The sales dudes told me that this wall is only a fraction of the owner's whole collection, and so I oohed and ahed over all the minis. Okay, so the highlight of my trip was the perfume shop Stele. This is a perfume shop. It is gorgeous. It is beautifully designed from top to bottom. The curation and the displays are so thoughtfully done. For example, in the Fischerson display, there is a big piece of black lava rock behind the bottles, which is just perfect for an Icelandic brand. You can see just how carefully thought out their inventory is, how artfully it's displayed. The entire place is very, very obviously a labor of love. I was excited to see brands like House of Mammoth, and I got to try Frasai for the first time and Kismet Olfactive. They carry Sarah Baker and Perfumer H and Francesca Bianchi. But the best thing for me about Stele was the sampling experience. So in front of each bottle is a small stone disc, and it's imprinted with the Stele logo, which is perfect for absorbing and capturing scent molecules when they are sprayed. Now, I really liked this. It prevents waste. It prevents breakage, and it also protects the air in the shop from becoming like overwhelmingly scented. So the bottom of each disc is sealed with a label, and the label has the name of the perfume, the brand, the notes, and the price very clearly and very plainly displayed. So you know exactly what you're smelling and exactly how much it will cost if you decide on a bottle. The sales associates were fabulous. No pressure. No pretentiousness. The associates are knowledgeable, they are friendly, they are helpful. The excitement about perfume and the brands that they carry is palpable. I enjoyed every second that I spent in that shop. So thanks for watching my little vlog. I hope you enjoyed seeing some lovely perfume shops in New York City. Thank you for being here. Thanks for spending your time with me and for chatting perfumes with me in the comments. I hope you have a really great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.